games go on. If Windsor loses, however, St. Clair goes up to 6-0, and then you have a 3-way tie for second. And I do not want to have a 1 1/3 chance of moving on and a 2 1/3 chance of going to LCQ.
But St. Clair, this match doesn't mean nothing to them. It's still important that they get through because they have an easier game. They just have a better chance at making it further in the playoffs if they're playing the LCQ team with a flawless record instead of playing another giant first game in the playoffs with a 5-1.
All right, we are ready to jump into this game. St. Clair attacking first, and University of Windsor going to be defending. St. Clair already is going to put one on the board. Instinct picks up 2. The spike carrier is dropped, which is always good for the defending team, but it is quickly picked up by St. Clair by their Killjoy, and they're coalescing around B for the plant. Dog's going to go out, get some information and chip damage onto the Viper. They head in, get their plant. Just what I wanted to see. 3v3 on the post plant.
And we're already seeing some high-level play. I mean, all of the utility that Sky has used hasn't even been for their own peak.
An ace for the Rays. Oh,
not
Killjoy
quite, not quite.
Took it.
Though that raise wasn't by their own utility. In fact, they put very little money into utility and instead put it into the Ghost to be the one taking those first peaks and to be taking the frags. However, they don't want to dry peek that. They still have people in the back of the pack who have spent their money not on a Ghost like the Sky, but in utility to search area out that they haven't even, that nobody has peeked into. I mean, it's just a methodical approach to the first round, which is a great view and a great thing to see from Windsor so far.
And, well, if you look at the gamer tags, Windsor is actually in the blue, St. Clair is in the red. So Windsor, we know, was defending first, so St. Clair is currently up 1.
True, true.
Windsor right now taking a few peeks through B. They're positioned quite far up, and all is one unit.
Yeah.
Killjoy's already going to get wallbang onto one of them. But it doesn't look like Windsor is deterred by that in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
Going to reposition toward B.
An incredibly dense positioning of them. It's strange, it's a little bit of a gamble stack where they wanted to get the catch on B, but now they've got to rotate out to C. They can't just sprint rotate around. If they owned all that territory, they could, but the gamble stack does mean that your rotation has to be slower in case anyone sprints through C and is ready to accept a push in your own spawn. They've got to be tricky about this as they make their way through the side door. It's been a plant and back off, so they're looking for anyone to walk through the smoke. Just a little bit of info is all they need. A pop of the Sky Flash gives it away. And Sky's going to grab one. Viper to grab another. On the side.
Oh, that flick perfectly aimed to get the headshot over the ledge. St. Clair doesn't lose anyone at all as they head into their bonus. This was kind of the whole gamble of everyone of Windsor bunched up, against each other on the defense, because once that Killjoy got sight of the whole Windsor team, it was, you know, you can tell your team, hey, they're all on B. C's wide open. Let's go get it.
Yeah, that gamble stack is not going to be their call for round 3. We see Windsor instead holding a much more split defense. In fact, they have no players on B. They lift a little bit of utility in the form of Killjoy, really spreading that utility out on C and a little bit into the breakable door on B. And that's going to be the approach. They do throw the wall up A and entice a few players down, and through the smoke. That's been our 3rd shot on screen of through this smoke frag. Definitely trace those bullets.
What was that Raze doing? He just charged right through the smoke, dry peeking.
Yep.
And threw a Viper, a snake bite nonetheless. So took the molly damage, and Windsor was like, okay, sure. St. Clair has gotten the plant. Windsor on the retake.
Windsor pacing things out and using that utility to check first a couple shots through, feeling out those corners. The bangable area is always a good call. Just being deliberate. No reason not to pre-fire. Oh, look at that. They can't quite call it. The paranoia is real. Omen is going to go down from several angles. The numbers game is serious, but the back and forth is too. All trying to make their way around. Falls to some util Jakey. He's too far off the spot, but he might find one of them. Killjoy with a clutch for the attacking team. St. Clair finds a 3rd point in a row, not the way a bonus typically runs.
The one thing that St. Clair had going for them is just how difficult it can be to retake C, though. So many angles and odd geometry that you've got to work around. But a 3-0 lead to start off is, it's hard to argue against, and it's going to put Windsor to an economy round. All sheriffs, small shields, which means that all these phantoms basically become vandals if you get a headshot.
That is true. And at the distances you'd like to be taken with the sheriff, this could be a quiet shootout of one-taps. However, I doubt it, considering that both teams have been ready to empty their pockets and just flip their tool belts for vision denial. We have seen so many Omen smokes, and we have seen the wall go in the same place all 3 rounds. People could just be spraying with the sheriff, which is not great, considering the 30 ammo you are gifted at the beginning of the round with this.
Oh man, St. Clair called this. Look at the rays off to the side. Had to go up against a 2-on-1, still took both of them down. The team is focusing on B, not A, so the one person you send off to lurk has already gotten rid of near half your opponents.
A lurking duelist is strong as well. I mean, the AoE damage just for both of them being there is threatening to begin with. That Omen is not moving a whole lot amidst the smokes. They're going to try to toss some more vision denial just to slow down a B push, but people are already on site, so it ends up being a little bit of an assistance.
I'm expecting a lot of great explosions because their raise is already, both raises are out of showstoppers, so I want to see plenty of showstoppers be brought out this match. Nice blind from a teammate to get the clear to go around the corner. Is going to throw out the paint shells. Didn't get too much damage. They both back up. Now heads in with the blast pack over the fake bite, but wasn't lined up correctly. But you got backup from your Killjoy and Omen. It's going to put you up to a 4-0 lead. And we look to be having a timeout that's set up here. Yeah. I would say this is probably a good time to bring up a timeout. You just want to, one of your abilities that you want to use, think of it like any other thing you can use at the course of the game to turn things around. And we often do see timeouts brought to kind of try to prevent landslides.
That's true, yeah, or to slow landslides down if they start approaching like a momentum shift difference. And after losing the bonus round, it's kind of a momentum shift that we don't like to see. So that's a good time to pop a timeout when you've got several. Like you said, they are utility that just need to be used on a nice little cooldown. They could be getting ready to pop an ult. They could be looking to just make a mental change. A lot of things that the team might be discussing to try to get this shift to happen in their favor.
Or they might not be discussing anything at all. I've talked to plenty of players who say they use timeouts just to stand up from the computer, stretch out a little, take some deep breaths, because sometimes when you're behind and you're hunched over the computer and you're trying to look at every single pixels, you just need a few deep breaths to reset your team's mentals, make sure you don't get too tilted. So timeout can be used for a whole lot of purposes.
Yeah. I mean, it could be used literally like a timeout from the game, like you said. Much of this game is mental. I mean, if you make the right gambles and you make the right reads into the other team and you make them predictable, look at this.
Showstopper ready to be brought up. Maybe through the smoke, try to get the Killjoy. Is going to take that route. No one there. Going to move out, see if the bomb bot spots anybody. Shaky's going to take it down. I mean, they are fast on this plan. St. Clair not wasting any time.
I mean, it almost felt like a run it back use. Everyone was just walking right in behind a little bit. Oh, look at that flying right in, finally punished. It is going to be a quick trade considering the ants in a row were ready to accept that push. Even more through the smoke, just back and forth acid bites from either side. Viper on the side of Windsor is going to be pushing up. Oh, and the Viper on St. Clair finds one.
One enemy remaining.
Okay. I was a little nervous for that spray, but they heard the sound cue. It was enough to get the Omen from defusing it. That's just the best thing about St. Clair being able to plant so quickly, is that by the time Windsor gets to the point, and even if they've gotten a couple picks here and there, which that was a great split-second win there, split-second pick there by Key. It's just the spike's already 5-7 seconds from detonating, and you don't have enough time to defuse.
Yeah, a lot of times you end up trading speed for stability or safety, meaning that you can push in quickly, but you got to sloppily check angles, or maybe you didn't get to check very deep, so they could be on you pretty quickly. But if you can find a way to get a stable situation out of a fast plant, that's just ideal.
Attention slowly being given over to C on both attack and defense. Both sides waiting out the smoke, sends the dog through to get some more info.
Yeah, but there's a repeat on smoke. So
Oh, that's a lot that you spotted, and immediately look at the rotation over towards A.
I mean, yeah, the math is easy here. If there's 3 people here, the other 2 are somewhere else, and we'll take those instead. The A is an absolute sprint track, as the Viper was already ready after popping that wall. The wall goes down, and they've got the entire space to themselves. A defensive wall is going to be popped, but it's not quite enough. They're already all past it. There's no value. They're just losing smokes. And once they know it, that wall will certainly drop. Plant is already out officially. Defense coming around the corner. All of them 5
Instinct
together.
here. The way they're bunched up, if Instinct doesn't get blinded, he could pick up something such as collateral.
Oh, and the paranoia.
He's already got 1. He drops down immediately. Instinct pounces. He gets another for a triple and a quad. This raise cannot be stopped.
Yeah, a small assist on that ace, just slowing things down in the hallway. But what a turnaround to call that. After the drop finds 1, here's the rotation steps, grabs the other 3, and a teammate closes it up. What a flawless run. Good recognition. I mean, having a Trailblazer see something, not having your entire team end up pushing just out of greed, being able to rotate efficiently, take an area and bleed out the smokes, and then just get the drop on the defense. A beautiful execution, bringing up 0.6, guaranteeing an up half for St. Clair, the Saints.
Windsor positioning up close, and they're taken out. Already their Omen's down, swing around by Sep, and Instinct picks up 1. 2 are gotten. Now there's just 2 left for Windsor as the Saints look unstoppable. And the other 2 are clear over on C. This is so much time. They're already going to be able to bleed off that spike due to the long rotation.
And there is that rotation. There's going to be a little bit of a bump. Oh,
1 enemy remaining.
That was not very well communicated. We saw a shadow step peak, which is like a jump peak with an entire utility commit. I'm not sure if that's worth it or not, but they definitely didn't inform the player behind them that they were going to be running that. They ended up getting a semi-collateraled. You know, you aim at someone and you don't hit them, but you do get something else. Oh, we'll see it again. What a situation.
Yeah, even if you're up 5-2, you don't want to be in a situation where you're just taking 1v1s. And I see they do try the double peek. They try to bait it out with the Omen teleport, but I would still rather just have someone swing wide behind someone else and you have 2-on-1 and you don't have to get fancy about it.
Yeah, because like the double peek side to side, that's actually a serious crosshair adjustment, but the top down's not really, because if you miss, you're hitting body shots. The coordination was just a little bit down, and they could have had a fun one there.
Still, though, not much to complain about for St. Clair. They get the first blood again, and that's basically how they've been starting time after time again. Also, they took out the Viper, who had decided to buy a judge, so if you were hoping for some judge play, we'll just have to wait a little bit longer.
Save for 1 player, every single player, dead or alive, has an ultimate ready, so I would not... There we go.
Nice one-way smoke placed in addition to the Killjoy.
Sure enough, there it is. I was going to say there should be a few of them, maybe 2 or 3 that get popped right here. We're going to see both of the Killjoys be popped. One of them goes off and finds nobody, but the other one, also 0 players detained.
It's the closest round in a while, but Lake is pinned down, gets taken out by the paint shells. And there's only 1 left. It's Jakey. He has a Vandal, but he is up against a wall of opposition. 3 players coalescing around B, although they are going to head into his util. The alarm bot's triggered, and the swarm grenade also. Plant goes through. As long as this is a good situation for him, he's taking a 1v1, but he isn't able to win it. But that is kind of the way, you know, that you even up a 3v1 is you just slowly win showdown after showdown and then take the point. But another round for St. Clair taken. It's 8-0.
Yeah, the Venn diagram of detention, locking off B, and forcing a long rotate, so that player had to really get paced out and couldn't play that numbers game. You see them looking for that retake, but everybody was in line to accept because we had that we had the cabbages popped at the last second just to hunt out that last player, guaranteeing every little bit of thread.
Instinct first blood against Luke. Smiley gets a double. Once again, it just looks like, you know, they're just rewinding the same tape over and over with each game.
I mean, once you've found that niche, you just got to fill it. Jakey, low health, is waiting for a little bit of support, but it's down to a 1v1 in an awkward angle. SF brings down 1 and 2 players on the side of Windsor. That's a clean 9 points for the Saints.
Curious to see what the individual stat lines are for each team. So, okay, so Instinct and their Killjoy are doing pretty well. They're both into double digits. But everyone from Windsor has a negative KDA. It's just really rough for them. They are at the closest they can get to a full buy, but 3 are settling some small shields. And
look at that. Almost double the credits coming out from Killjoy, considering that they have found 0 deaths this game. The only player to have not been picked in 9 rounds.
I have not seen that.
That's hard to catch.
Have I ever seen someone not get hit once? Not get picked once?
Do you think they can make it to the half?
Oh,
should we have some little side bets?
If they get it, well, not just the half. I'm saying the whole game.
Ooh.
They're just 4 rounds away.
Considering the play style, I mean, yes, compared to the top fragger, they're being a little bit slower, but you don't approach a dozen kills on no deaths.
One thing is that they are holding the spike. So usually when they go into plant, the other teammates have cleared the area out and it's already a 5-2.
That is true. Yeah, the positioning, they are playing the Sentinel. You're usually there to lock things down and use your utility to do so. And we've seen a lot of utility usage come out from both of the Killjoys.
Welcome to my world.
Viper's Kid expended. And there's another one from Windsor being taken out. Killjoy's going to be more than happy to just play swarm grenades on the spike. Oh, showstopper. This close of a space can be dangerous. All 3 of Windsor are bunched up together. Taking the route in from A, but one of them already falls to the paint shells, and Smiley is there to clean up the others. Killjoy still not 1 death to their name.
Oh, I tried to turn around and shake off that decay, but people are always watching. Yeah, and Killjoy, the money machine, I'm sure they're not holding on to 8,000 creds out of those 11 kills alone and survived rounds. I mean, 10 rounds win. They're probably just buying guns for everyone who falls.
Going into round 11, still a flawless performance from St. Clair.
Interesting, we haven't seen a lot of ops coming out of that flawless performance.
No, we haven't, but St. Clair is attacking, and they don't really have any of the agents that usually you want to pair an op with. So.
That is very true. I mean, you could maybe send it down A sight lines if you're ready to pull up that Viper's wall, but really attacking on Lotus with the players that we have. I mean, Raze is not really suited for it, and Duelists are the ones who are. Your Sentinel could be in the case of Chamber, but some people just run it anyways.
Some people just play Chamber as a Duelist.
Yes.
Just use his guns and go ham.
It's not an awful call. These dynamic positions are really opening up.
Main focus on C. Now, the last time they were here, they used the dog to determine how many agents were on C, and then quickly rotate over to A.
Ooh, this is a little bit.
Oh! finds one. Instinct is still in there. That was a little bit hairy, but they've cleared out the point and managed to get the plant.
Spike planted.
A lot of util being sent through this smoke up in hall. They spot the Viper, and Seth takes out Luke. Smiley going in for the close range combat. Picks, doesn't get that one. Kaz with the stinger doing good. But ultimately had to swap over to the classic.
So many good little gunfights there. I think most importantly, we have seen for sure now a... oh, yeah, look at this. A lot of times when that's popped by the Rays, it's basically a card for a free trade if you don't find two people on top of each other, because you throw yourself kind of into a difficult situation to guarantee a hit, and then you're just kind of stuck there with whatever sidearm you gave yourself. So them to find a kill based off of quick communication with the Trailblazer coming out of the sky is good, and then to survive that situation even though they find themselves in the snake bite.
Instinct again, just consistently first blood.
Yeah.
Bot coming back.
Jakey fights back. Inmates Smiley 4 apiece. Kaz hiding around the corner. Seth flushes him out. And now A is basically wide open. Killjoy just hanging back to watch potential flank. That isn't really in the cards, so they're pretty safe for now. Problem is when Windsor, if Windsor, their Killjoy, has to break down the door,
One
it
enemy
already
remaining.
gives some audio cues, and Q just calls it immediately.
This is an uphill fight for ALV. Looking to make as many
not
1v1s
enough
as
time.
they can.
I mean,
Yeah, just no time, but not a great position to save either. And there it is, the hunt down happens. And SF.
All right, I'm going to call it right now.
Switching
It's
sides.
12-0. I think
Match
they try to
point.
finish it off with a knife. I think they're in that mood.
Yeah, looks like it could be the case.
And again, this Killjoy still at 0 for their deaths. So
Placing swamp grenade.
I don't know though. If you're looking for a knife win, do you prep a stage with util?
I mean,
Out of charges.
I'm thinking in a situation where they get it down to a 5v1 or a 4v1. I'm saying they end the round
Very
with
final
a knife.
finish. A
Yeah,
final
yeah.
finish. Ah, that's so upsetting though, because that's an easy way to slip a record.
St. Clair's first round on defense. Bit of a split. They've sent the Viper over to lurk on to point A, see if they can't get any picks.
Defense is feeling fairly patient, which is an impressive call. Killjoy ready to back up as they get a little bit of noise. They have to respect it though. It's an obvious push C. Getting a lot of heat, but not quite enough. It's not a full commit, and they still got lurkers on the A as you ought. But they haven't made any eye contact yet. It's definitely a quieter game when it's match point and you've got nothing but a classic. Skydog coming around. Trailblazer finds one. Enough time to reposition, but that's the catalyst. A few on their way in. Luke leading the charge. Drops a little bit of utility, finds one with the ghost, a quick swap to another. That's 3 on the name. It is looking good for them. This is the first time Windsor has been up. They've got the heal coming out, looking to dry peek these smokes. One, fast, a second, well done, but it's not quite enough. And they take the point to break the flawless landslide. It's still match point though.
Yeah, it's match point for the next 11 rounds that Windsor would need to win.
Yep.
And St. Clair, I mean, if I'm them, I just say, okay, we've got the bonus round coming up in 1 round. We win that, we're good to go.
It's true. It's true. So they look to make as much econ damage as they can here. And then try to buy out according to the guns that they find, because those are kind of locked in to be your bonus guns. So very typical of match points. It will be match point until the end of the game. So tensions are definitely high. Look at that first blood. Clean on A.
Oh, the fire through the smoke works out for Jakey.
It
Now
sure
4
does.
apiece.
Getting that plant out nice and quick, nice and quiet too. Not a lot of pushback on the site here. They own it. Defense is going to be making their way around, but not if Jakey has anything to say about it as they find one with the Bulldog. That Marshall coming out, showing a little bit of appreciation for maybe the operator if Windsor can keep it up, and they're sure going to try. Luke finds one, is replied to, just playing through the smoke, low on health and low in ammo. Looking to make their way around Q. Still holding it together. Falls to Set. Jakey goes down key. And attackers find another point, but like you said, this could be the end of it.
And it's like you said, you go into that round trying to do as much economy damage as you can, and they took out 3 with nothing but sheriffs. So this should be the stage that St. Clair picks it up. I mean, they do have nothing but small shields, and look at this. Windsor has actually purchased up a good bit. They only have 1 Bulldog they're bonusing with.
Yeah, not a lot of creds left in the pocket. So if they do find this one, they'd like to find it on a large margin because the next round is only going to be more difficult. So I'd expect an all-out play here. They're going to leave 1 in the pocket and start bringing that spike up, ushering it through the 8 doors, taking the long way around. They don't want a flash finish through the swinging doors. Just feeling things out still, maybe waiting for those smokes to drop, and as the smokes build a nice one-way across the door and it comes out, the audio's there. They stay wary, just trying to set up a nice 50-50 and play through the bangable doors, maybe considering a push to B. Sure enough, the rotation is brought out, but the acid bite is already there. They can't really force across this. They've got to wait it out, and it's renewed. The Viper dumping utility on. It's a pinch situation as they come around the corner. The Viper's pit goes down. Can they make their way in? The Oni Phantom waiting from above and from Killjoy as well. It's a tough angle to swing into, but they find it. Margelia to get one. Killjoy to reply. Kaz bringing it to a 2v3. The plant, it's available, and the heals are on. It's so tight. This is the biggest push and the greatest zone that Windsor has found this game.
St. Clair swing around, spots the gun barrel and spots him not looking, and knows that Kaz is just around that corner, flushes him out as well. 2-1, Jakey trying to take it back. One of them can defuse, the other can just block.
Man, Kaz stuffed.
There you go. That will do it. A very dominant 13-2 from the Saints.
Not quite a sweep and a mop. There was a serious pushback there. Makes me wonder how the next round's going to go.
Well, we are going to be going over to split instead of, so kind of that, what I would say, you got 3 points to defend instead of 2 on Lotus. So I would think it's probably not as lopsided between attack and defense. You can see all the individual stats. I mean, look at that for Instinct. 24-8, followed by Seth. And man, their Killjoy came so close to getting no deaths at all.
Yeah, nearly
it was
flawless.
So close.
3, and I'm sure that those 3 were in the 3 points that were taken by, or sorry, in that 2 of those 3 points had to be in the points that were taken by Windsor. And Windsor's Luke, look at that, fighting their way up the board. 3 8s right in the middle. It's tough when a lot of the top fragging positions are all on 8s. Those rounds had to be down to decisive things.
So now St. Clair just 1 game away from capping off their perfect season.
It could be.
Not dropping a single game. Now, another team that we saw pull that off yesterday was UT Dallas, the Comets, in Overwatch. So St. Clair would probably join them among that, not in the same game, but just of general teams entering playoffs undefeated. And oh boy, and for Windsor, I mean, you got so many great teams in this division. It really is a competitive division. It's almost hard to believe that you finished the season with a 5-2 record and still don't qualify.
Yeah, it's tough. It is very tough to have those margins there and have these giants on the field in the East 1 and in the East 2 divisions and brackets. But you've got to fight those fights, and you have to prove that you're ready to climb the ladders and fight through the mud and barbed wire, like you said.
And each of these divisions has had a university. Almost all of them have a university that's just swept through. I mean, they've been looking toward playoffs for the entire season,
Yeah,
you could say.
But on a micro level, today's map that we just saw go down did not happen on a 0-13. It was a 13-2. Those 2 points are a big deal. It means it wasn't flawless, again, on a micro sense. And there was something between the attack and the defense that happened. Maybe that was a short conversation, or maybe they put all their eggs